your ears and your head are freezing.
Oh God, yes, below zero.
And it's blowing. It's blowing like crazy. Now this is from World War II. Yeah, this sort of thing. Yeah, I don't know. And this is naval. There's your anchor. I don't think I've ever seen anybody, wearing one of these.
It definitely looks Soviet.
I'm pretty sure it's World War II vintage. And like I said, this one here is lamb, and it's not merino. It's something else. I can't remember the name of the. It's the
particular breed of lamb.
Yeah, it has a really tight, curly fur. Oh, this one also fell off.
No, that's the one. That's the same one.
Oh, is it this one? Okay.
Yeah, that keep. I don't know how to get that on there. I don't want to mess it up.
What we'll just do is put it on top.
Too small for me, but.
What this is seal. Seal. You see how close with seal? They cut it close. They crop it close because the hair is actually much longer. It's like more like that, and so you only feel all the soft under layer, as opposed to the because their outer coat is a little more. What would I call it? It's more like the bristles on their face. They're stiff. But anyways, this is expensive fur. That's expensive fur. These are expensive furs. What she was doing here was getting, she couldn't get a fur coat, but she could get a fur hat. And they were very reasonable in Russia. Maybe $5, $5 to $10.
Oh my.
All right, I don't know.
And this is Nekrasov. This bust here. He was a very famous writer in the 1800s in Russia. It's Nikolai Nekrasov. Nekrasov. Yeah. Nikolai Nekrasov. And this is Tchaikovsky.
Yeah, the lady was here yesterday said that was Tchaikovsky.
Sure is.
I've got another one of them.
Yeah. I mean that's and I've seen them for sale. Look at all the fossils. These are trilobites.
Yeah, she collected a lot of
yeah. I
fossils.
mean, I
and
did
stuff.
too.
Yeah.
And these are garnets. No, they're not. These are amethysts. They're amethysts.
She's got a lot of this.
Yeah.
I think this is iron pyrite here. I don't know. I wasn't very big in I took a geology course, but I didn't get that far in.
Because of the green,
Get on the other side, you guys.
it's actually copper. It's a copper.
Oh, okay, it's copper.
Yeah, so it's probably, I would say copper sulfate or
Copper sulfate?
copper. Yeah, no, copper sulfate is blue. So this is green. So this would be copper carbonate. And that's it. Copper carbonate. It's what malachite is made out of. It's the same thing, except that this is crystallized. So yeah, and all these, see the trilobite there, and all of these, I can't remember the name of that. All of these. It's funny how.
I think she had some petrified dinosaur poop too.
Yeah. Yes, I have one.
Yeah.
I we both had interest in minerals like this.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Ellen was
Well, her
definitely
interest.
intellectual back then and probing and whatever.
That's it. Her interests were very broad, and that's why we got along, because we could talk about almost anything.
Yeah.
And we did. We always did. This is the room where I stored everything.
She's sleeping.
That's all right.
But there's some prints or whatever those are on that far corner. I don't know if that's from there, but otherwise, yeah.
But yeah, I remember we took everything off the dressers and it's just piled with all my, expensive clocks and stuff like that.
I guess there's some more.
Yeah, this is malachite.
Yeah.
That's actual malachite, and in Russia, they would take whole sheets of this and mold it and make columns. In St. Isaac's Cathedral in St. Petersburg, the main altar, they had, I think, 6 of columns made of malachite, and then the 2 inner ones that actually framed the I think it's called like the holy door or something like that. They were lapis lazuli. blue.
Blue,
It
yeah.
was really, really, really nice. I was like, wow, wow.
These are some prints I think she brought back, or some watercolors or
Let's
something.
see here. I think these are watercolors.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let's see if I can do this. Get close enough.
I'm turning some more light behind this one.
No. Yeah, these are. Yeah, these are watercolors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're very nice. And you see what I mean about the snow?
Mm-hmm.
So any colors just stand out. That's a troika, and only the Russians have this. It's 3 horses.
3 horses.
Yeah, so it's called a troika.
Yeah.
And this is traditional. I never have seen one in real life, but it's traditional. This is what what they travel in. And I don't know why. Now see, here's a single horse. Maybe because he got bogged down. I don't know.
All right, let's see. Of course, this was our office, which is absolute mess.
I only was in here once. I remember seeing this. Wow. All the banners, these Soviet banners.
Yeah, the lady was here yesterday, really was interested in all these banners. I mean, she took
Oh yeah, because now they're collector's items. I have several. See, look at the flags and everything. That's a naval flag,
Yeah,
I believe. And
I think that's what she said.
yeah, and it's and if you notice, it's got the hammer and sickle and everything. And all of this now is from another era,
Yeah.
and so that's what makes it. And look, let's see.
Here's,
Oh, this one here. Let's see. Truda. Okay, that's work. That's labor.
okay.
And so here it says Komunisti Českovo. That's communist labor.
Okay.
And Kolovieda. I'm not sure what the first 2 words, but anyways, communist labor. And it's a quote from Lenin. That's Lenin's signature right
wow.
there. Vladimir Lenin. Ilyich Lenin. So it's literally it's VI, but the V in Russian, it looks like RB.
Yeah.
And so forth. So that's what that is. Yeah,
That's
it's just another propaganda poster, banner.
Well, all of these I would say are, I mean, like
Pretty much.
some of the
Yeah,
these
that's-
deals.
And this is Socialisti Českovo, Sovieti. Oh, victory of the Soviet socialist, of the Soviets of the
Soviet people or something.
yeah, so of the socialist Soviets.
Okay.
That's it. Okay, and then this
Just
one
noticed
here.
she's got a note on this. I hadn't noticed before.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there. This is Pobiedy. That means victory. Udar, noi. Vacht. I'm not sure. Well, anyways, anytime you see this here, Pobieda,
Yeah.
that means victory.
Okay.
And okay, remember you were talking about the coat. See how
yeah.
And this in Russia, wearing the coat like that, a coat is a symbol of prestige, class, and how would I say, sophistication. I mean, you because you have to wear a coat because of the weather, you want the best coat you can get. And Nikolai Gogol actually wrote a story. It was called The Coat, and it's about this Soviet official, this czarist official. He was just essentially just a bureaucrat, and he made very little money. He was just an office worker, but he invested in the very best coat he could afford. And it's an icon of Russian literature, just like, say, the legend of Davy Crockett or of Daniel Boone or any of that is.
Yeah.
And so in Russia, just having a coat is an automatic symbol. You know right away it's an icon of something. And it's going to be an icon of I don't know, of not just prestige, but of high office. That sort of someone who is important. And that's why he wanted that coat. He wanted to make himself important.
Oh, okay.
You see how he's wearing it there too?
Yeah.
Same thing. So that's what that is. I gave Ellen this one. This is the famous bronze horseman. This is Peter the Great on horseback. This stone was brought from Finland, and it was done by Falconet. He was a French sculptor that was brought over from France by Catherine the Great. She commissioned this, had it all made, and it says here in Latin, Peter from Catherine, and the year 17. Let's see, 17 what? 90. Yeah, 1780. Yeah, and CCM.
See if I can put some light on it.
Yeah. It's a 1700 somewhere. And it says the same thing on the other side in Russian. There. And over there, and then 1782. There we are.
So much easier.
Yeah. There we are.
Yeah.
So here they put it in just Roman numerals, but on the other side, because it's Latin, they put it in Roman numerals like that. So anyways, yeah, this is a good piece. It's nice. I have this. I had two of them, and I got a slightly bigger one, so I gave her this one. I remember us both standing at the foot of this statue and looking up at it. It's real close to St. Isaac's Cathedral. It's huge. I'm about that big to it. So it's great. It's good memories, you know.
Yeah.
All of this.
Wow.
And this is the victory. This is Victory of the Motherland, and it's one of the tallest statues in the world. No, it used to be the tallest, but now they've built some in China that are they're taller than the Empire State Building.
Oh,
They're huge, just huge, unbelievable. Just
Can't hardly get around here. This was I always thought was interesting. Just it was just a poster, I guess. She brought back. So it's got all these Matryoshka dolls, I guess.
That's what they are.
Yeah. Bunch of them.
And there's another. Now that naval banner there, that one's really unusual. No, the one on top over the window.
Oh, okay, yeah.
See how long that banner is?
Yeah.
And that's a naval banner.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. It's what they call a naval pennant.
Yeah.
It's a pennant, I think. And I don't know if the people that were here the other day that you said they were from the Russian office.
I don't remember her talking much about that one.
She probably didn't see it.
Yeah,
She probably did
all
not see
lit
it.
up and all that.
There we are. I was wondering what was on my back here. But,
Watch out, don't get stuck back there.
no, I'm just looking at. I didn't know that she had gotten that one. I wasn't with her when she found that one.
Yeah.
The lady said she.
I was with her when she found that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The lady said she thinks she remembers Mom buying that from her.
From her?
Yeah, from the Russian house.
Oh, right.
In Melbourne.
Well, that may have been where she. Yeah, because I told you I was only in here once, and
I wasn't anywhere near this mess.
no, it wasn't. She was a bit more orderly at that time.
She
At
just
that time.
collected more stuff than she could be orderly
you know
with.
what, that's the thing. I mean, it's a problem I face. You know, when your interests are so broad, it's almost impossible to control that.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like it's everything you can do to keep your interests. I call it the Leonardo da Vinci syndrome,
Yeah.
where you have your talent makes you capable of taking in so much that you can't control it. I feel people who only have one or two or three interests are better off because they can focus on, you know, just those things.
Yeah.
And not overwhelm themselves.
Yeah.
Da Vinci was interested in everything he saw.
Yeah.
And so he never completed a lot of it. He would lose interest in something because he gained interest in something else. You know, he was like a whore. Just going on and on and on.
I'm guessing this thing's got a lot of Russian stuff in it, but I don't know. It's just some kind of a poster, I guess.
There are all sorts of, and this, you know, the Russian that place in Stetson should come here because this is a really good collection of Russian-related material.
I sent an email to Stetson a few days ago. They haven't gotten back to me. I asked if they had anybody that would be interested in a donation. That we've got a lot of Russian books.
Russian related material.
That likely the estate sale won't have any desire to take.
Or may just, well, they won't be able to market it as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's what's going to happen. So, yeah, I mean, Mike Tudor. If I were thinking about Mike Tudor, he would just look at this as books.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the only way it would mean something to him if it was a Gutenberg Bible. Okay, then he would see value in it.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd have to be something really extraordinary. So that's part of the problem. This is a neat piece. I haven't seen this one. Let's see if I can get it.
Excuse me.
Yeah, look at that.
I want over there.
This
You
is
want to sit down?
Polonia.
No, you
This is
stand there.
made in the Ukraine. This is
Okay.
Polonia. And that's the price. That's the original price. When the Soviet government existed, they set the prices, not the retailer, not the market, not anything. That was the official government price, 15 rubles.
Huh.
God, no.
And if it was made for export, then underneath it would say number 1, and then it looked like KORT, KOPT. That's first sort in Russian. That means first quality.
Oh, okay.
That's first quality goes to export. They would export their best pieces. But anyways, Polonia, that's in the Ukraine. And of course, at that time, Ukraine was part of Russia.
Yeah.
So that's what that is. And what makes it neat, you know, he's got his star here and everything, and that's a nice piece. I like this. When are you going to formally start all the sale and everything?
Well, after he gets done, so it's going to be another week or so, and then we would have the state people come in and take what they want that they think they can sell and whatever.
Could I buy a couple of things from
Sure.
you before you all?
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, this is, if you don't want this, this is a nice
No.
piece. I like it. It's really.
I've got more of an eye for antiques than Russian.
Well, if you saw my
items.
house, you would say the same thing.
Yeah, Mauricio.
Because I fall in the same category. And it's just a shame, and I know that probably my sisters don't want my stuff. By the way, this is a Magic clock. This was actually made in a factory that was actually bought by the Soviet government from the United States. It was the old Ansonia Clock Company. They bought the whole company, the whole thing, everything, all the equipment, the whole 9 yards, shipped it over to Russia, reassembled it, and they used that to make clocks. And it's Magic, which is magic.
Yeah.
That was their name. And this is the actual way it was, manufactured and presented, and was a very popular clock. And you can see them on. They're on eBay. They made like 10 trillion of them.
When this lady was here yesterday, she said this was the kind of wine that Stalin drank.
It may have
Who
been.
the hell knows?
Yeah, who knows? I mean, he was drinking some really bad stuff because of the stuff he did, man. He did something
He
majorly.
finally had a stroke and died. Yeah. Okay.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
1955, because I thought about it, that I was actually born while he was still, the dictator of Russia.
You know who else died the day he died?
Who?
And did not get even mentioned in the newspaper for like another month or so? Prokofiev.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, Sergei Prokofiev.
I've been in.
Huh?
Yeah, they totally buried his
Yeah, because
death.
he wasn't as prominent, and
Yeah.
he wasn't. Let's put it this way: he was out of favor. But you have to remember that right after Stalin died, then people started dying right and left because it was
Yeah.
a power struggle.
Yeah.
And one of them was Lavrenti Beria. He was the head of security.
Yeah.
They immediately took him outside of the city, put him up against the wall, and shot him right there.
Yeah.
They just didn't want it.
Well, he was no doubt responsible for killing a lot of other people.
Yeah, well, I thought it was a rather fitting end for a man who did the same thing to everybody else. They wasted no time. Now this room I've never see. Oh, look at this. This is
Where's that collection of the coins and all
It's
that?
in this bag now.
In this bag?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, look at that. Is that a print or
well, you know, that's what I'm trying to determine. Gosh. I can't see brush strokes, which, yeah, that's what you look for.
yeah? Oh, okay.
I'm looking for anything telltale. I think it is a watercolor.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you know, she was using the same place I did. I think I recommended it to her. This is the same place that did all the framing for me. This is a nice piece, and it's a Cossack.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Cossack on horseback, and you know, 1997, and I don't read Russian cursive very well, but anyways, that's what that is. That's a nice little piece.
She brought some of
All
these
the-
dolls.
and all the dolls, yeah.
Yeah.
She was really big on those. I wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't my thing.
Well, I
But,
couldn't understand what she was
yeah.
doing. Yeah. I don't know where she got all this kind of stuff here too.
Okay, these are Soviet medals.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They are.
Kind of stuff in here and coins. I don't know what all.
Yeah, those are. See, the Russians are really big on instead of really helping their citizens when they do something, instead of giving
They
them
give 'em
money
medals.
or yeah, they give them medals. So I saw men there from the old Soviet period. They would come out and they'd have a coat, and it was literally from here to here covered. I mean, they could have deflected bullets. I mean, you know, it was just crazy.
Yeah.
But that's a big thing. Yeah, this is, gosh, I know, I recognize these three here. Yeah, this is an older one right here. This is from the 1920s and 1930s. Same thing with that one. This one also. This, you know what these are here? This is what this is Soviet mothers. This was issued to women who had, I think, 6 children.
Oh my God.
6 children,
Oh,
7
my.
children, and 8 children, because all the wars, you know, that's part of the problem with the Russian Russian nation now.
Yeah.
They've lost so many men
Mhm.
in 3 successive wars that their population has been in decline for the last like 50 years.
Wow.
Literally, their birth rate isn't even at the replacement level. It's like, you know, I think
Or the total
it has to
opposite.
be at least like 1.8 or 2, something like that, and theirs is well below that. So ethnically, they're predicting that, you know, like the demographics here, where minorities will eventually outnumber the white population, the European descent. In Russia, the whole country, all the Russians, the native Russians, are dying out.
Golly.
Because they, you know, all the men have been killed.
Yeah.
That's one reason too why you see a lot of women in high places in Russia, you know, as doctors and so on.
Yeah.
Because there are no men. And when I was there, you know what the most chilling thing was? I saw almost no children. I think I only saw 3 children in all the time I was there a month. You know, here you see children everywhere, right?
Yeah.
But not there. And when a child is born, they make a big deal out of it, because, you know, it's not just the fact that there aren't enough men. It's the fact that for many years there was just nothing to live for.
Yeah.
There was no future. I mean, why have children when they're going to grow up and be in the same misery as you, with nothing?
That's
you know?
bleak.
So, anyways, that's what these are, and they're made of solid silver. All of these, all 4 of those. So yeah, those are yes. It's Soviet Motherhood is the name of it. The Soviet Motherhood, and this is, I can't remember. I'd have to get a book to get this out, or you can go online. They show these. These were given out during World War II. These two here and this one. This one was given before the World War. This was right after the Soviets took over. So this was in the early Stalinist period. This one also. This is awarded by Stalin. That's Stalin's face right there too. So all of these. This one's the only one. This is modern.
Yeah.
Because it's got the double eagle. That's a modern Russian state. So what she was she was just putting a display of medals, and they all have particular names. And this one here, it's called Slava, and it's usually done with a Medal of Glory or Honor, and so forth. So yeah, I haven't thought about some of this stuff in years. See, that's what we would talk about, all these sort of things, and she would tell me what she had gotten or what she'd seen and stuff, and we would talk about stuff like that all the time. So,
Ton of stuff.
let's see. Yeah, let's see if she hid something in here.
I've been going through every one of the issues we found is she had a safety deposit box, and then that she told me about, and then
How many gold bars were in it?
I'm
Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
and then later in life, I asked her about it, and she said she never had one, and she told her friend Tamala that she had it, but no one else, and now she doesn't remember having it. And I remember her telling me that she kept her wedding and engagement rings in there, and Dad thought it was in the safe, but I just found the safe, and the safe was open, and there was nothing in it. So in lieu of possibly she took it out of the safety deposit box, I've been going through trash. I mean, I found passwords to her computer to unlock the computer in general.
Good.
And I've been writing down all that
So
stuff.
you're going to have to look through everything. You know what else I'm going to tell you? Look through the pockets of coats and stuff like that.
I've not done that. Okay.
Make sure you do that.
Okay.
Especially, because that's where, that was a very common practice back in the 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Putting valuables in pockets.
Well,
It was.
she's not a child of the 20s and 30s.
No, but you know what?
You learn it.
You're right about that. But, sometimes memories linger, because she might have heard her mother say that, or a grandmother or an aunt, and then it comes back to her, and, that's a good place. I think I can do that. I should do that. We do that even when we're, let's put it this way, it doesn't take the situation your mother's in now to have it come up. We always have little memories that are from our childhood that linger with us all our lives.
Yeah. Very true.
So just think about it. I would do that. So check before you get rid of any clothes, especially heavy coats.
Okay.
Look down here in the pockets, here in the breast pockets, as well as the other pockets.
Okay.
Check.
Will do.
Yeah. So that's what I would do. That's a nice piece. I like that. And yeah, your mother introduced me to the religion of football. I never cared anything about it.
Yeah.
But your mother she was a fan of the Gators.
Oh yeah, well that's where Duncan went to.
Yeah, she couldn't get enough of that, and I remember her sitting in front of the television and just, I mean, I don't know of any guy that was more enthusiastic about it than she was.
Well, we used to go to the games because Duncan was in the band, so he would come out there at halftime and all that. He was called the Pride of the Sunshine Band, is what the name of the band was, the Gator marching band.
I didn't know that he played instruments.
He played the French horn, and then when he got in the band, what did they play? That
The trumpet?
what's the
Flugelhorn. It's called
The what?
flugelhorn.
No, it wasn't. A flugelhorn was longer. It wasn't. This was just had a big bell on
It's
it.
called a flugelhorn.
All right. Okay.
Oh, wait.
Well, if you say so.
Hold on.
Flugelhorn.
Sorry. No. You're right. Flugelhorn is a trumpet, a larger trumpet. It's a mellophone.
Mellophone. That's right. They call it a mellophone. The French horn players, when they were performing a concert was one thing, but once they got out on marching, then they played the mellophone, which was kind of like a trumpet, but it had a bigger bell on it, and you know, about this long or whatever.
Just as terrible.
But just as terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to have accuracy on the French horn. It's even worse on the mellophone.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
always
playing a
thought the
kazoo.
tuba was one that had hard. It was hard to control because of literally the volume of breath.
No, the thing that makes the tuba actually an easy instrument is when you, without using any valves, you're just going up the harmonic series. The intervals. It takes a lot of manipulation to go from a low C to a G, and after that, the next partial up. Starting in the normal range of like a middle school student. So the first, they typically play on B flat tubas. I play on C tuba, but anyway, for B flat, the B flat tuba, the open partial is going to be a B flat harmonic series. Mm-hmm. So you've got the pedal B flat, they got the low B flat, and the tuning B flat, which is the second line on the staff. Mm-hmm. And so anyway, the low B flat, the next note up is going to be an F. Above that, it's going to be a B flat. Above that is going to be a D. Above that is going to be a F, and then it starts going to
your normal ascension.
Yeah. So most of the notes on the tuba are low notes. So to play those notes, the accuracy, you're not going to have as much of an accuracy issue between like 7. You can't play 7 different notes with the same relative effort. Mm-hmm. You might way overshoot it or way undershoot it, but you're not going to hit either an A, an A flat, a B flat, a B, a C, like you can on to some degree on some of those other higher brass instruments.
The ones that are valved.
Well, because
it seems to me the valves on the tuba, my impression was that it's more breath control than it is valves at all.
Yeah, you have to have a wide, slow column of air.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, what I'm trying to say is the higher brass instruments, everything is more compact. So when you're wanting to play a scale, you're doing smaller manipulations with your face.
Okay.
While you're pushing down whatever the buttons are. Whereas tuba, the manipulations are wider because you have to cover more, I guess, a wider wavelength variation. Okay. So when trumpet players and French horn players are the people that typically chip notes more frequently than tuba players, or more than trombone players.
Is that what they call it, chipping?
Yeah.
Fracking. I've never heard that term. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chipping. Okay. Huh. You know, that's a term they use in pianos when they first build them and then they give them their first tuning.
Yeah.
It's called chipping.
I never knew that.
Yeah. It goes through chipping and then you let it sit, let it stabilize, mm-hmm. and then you keep doing that again and again until the notes stabilize. It takes a while for it to stabilize.
Yeah.
Because what's happening is that tension, you know, it affects obviously the harmonics of the instrument and of the soundboard and everything.
Yeah.
But once it stabilizes, and then once it's stabilized, it really stabilizes in a piano.
Yeah.
I mean, my piano, when I first got it, I had to have it tuned 3 to 4 times a year. Now I get it tuned once a year, and it barely 2 or 3
This
cents.
is that concert grand piano.
Mm-hmm. I still have it.
You never did see it, I don't think.
No, I did. He played it for me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think you came over to my house.
I know you played it for me one time. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's I still drag that thing around. And I still have the harpsichord. The only problem with the harpsichord,
that's right.
I need to have it rebuilt in the action.
Yeah.
Because the weights, the guy, instead of using solid lead weights, he used lead paste.
Oh.
And it reacted with the humidity and air and created little stalactites coming out. Little,
interesting.
Rods, and then they rub against the next key.
Yeah.
And they stick. So now I've got to have all those little lead weights taken out.
Yeah.
And replaced with lead weights that are more like, say, like fishing lead weights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That much. They won't react.
Yeah.
Huh. But I have to find someone that's willing to do that. And right now the harpsichord's sort of, I mean, I can't really play it because it sticks all over the place.
Yeah.
But the piano's fine.
I had a sticking valve for several years, and I took it to a couple of mechanics, and so that I had a piston. It's got piston valves.
Right.
And so the location of the thumb ring, which is just a point to anchor your hand.
Right.
So because you've got 5 valves, you need to have the dexterity of all 5 fingers.
Well, not just that, but that also gives you the anchor that you can use to hold those valves in
true.
place. I mean, without that, your hand would slip everywhere.
Yeah, and also keeps positive pressure of bringing the horn into your face a little bit.
Yeah.
So the way, how high up the thumb ring was mounted caused my fingers to, so your perfect piston, you're just going to go like this.
Right.
But
Should be
my
direct.
fingers were like this. So these
Your fingers were extended then instead of flexed. Okay.
So these 2 fingers were doing fine. This one in particular,
There was too much space.
constantly was going down at an angle.
Yeah.
Over
So
20 years.
you were pushing against the wall of the piston.
I caused a wear spot.
Yeah.
And so I finally found a mechanic technician that could identify what the issue was. He looked at it with the right mindset and found out what it was.
So do you adjust your thumb? Your
Well,
thumb
eventually,
ring?
yes. But to fix the inside of the piston, I had to take the whole piston,
Oh, it had
the
to
valve
be rebuilt.
assembly
It had
off.
to be rebuilt. Yeah.
They sent it up to a guy in northwest rather, and he replated the valves. The valves feel like they are brand new. It is substantial improvement on the way the horn plays. But I started learning how to play. Okay, let's say this is the valve. Normally you go right here and you push down. So I started to learn to both push down and pull up, and doing that type
so
of
now
action.
you got to break that.
Well, I've since broken it, but it was a pain in the butt to always be conscious of doing that while you're trying to make music and make tonalities that.
Well, now you know what a pianist is like when he knows that one of his keys will stick.
Yeah.
Trying to either avoid it or play it so that it'll actually sound.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we had COVID, and I got COVID money, so that funded that project.
Hey, let me tell you, COVID money was probably the greatest stimulus that this country has ever had.
Yeah.
It changed the American workplace because a lot of people that had really crappy jobs found out with that extra money, they could go in for training, they could look at other things. They found out that life was better than just subsistence.
Yeah.
And it changed their attitudes. And that was called the Great Resignation. A lot of people just started putting in their what's called their notices of resignation.
Yeah.
And moving on to something else.
Wow.
Whether it was better or whether it was just different or whether it was new.
Yeah.
It was just the idea of breaking
the mold.
The idea that they couldn't go to something better, or that they were stuck where they were.
Yeah. Didn't even think about that.
COVID money did a lot of. I mean, people. Because I was hoping that I would get laid off so I could get some of that COVID money because, damn, I could stay home. I was getting Social Security plus that and unemployment. My gosh, life is good. It's better than this is retirement plus. I mean, it's like it's retirement with benefits.
It didn't affect me clinically because I was working at home.
Yeah,
I'm sitting at the desk in there, working through a laptop and a modem, and I mean that's what got me was all the people that were working in hospitals, the nurses and doctors in hospitals, especially people like Duncan, who has asthma, and he had to dress up like a spaceman to go in there and see these people, which he probably still does to a certain extent. I was really worried about him. I mean, finally they came out with a vaccine. He was one of the first people probably in Alabama to get it. He had to go to Huntsville to this.
Well, I remember the first responders, they were getting it first.
Yeah. They had to. I mean,
well, they needed to. Yeah.
Yeah, if they're going to, the first responders, but also the nurses and the respiratory therapists. I mean, those people take care of people who got the disease. They already know they got them, so they know they could catch it from them. A paramedic goes out there, they don't know what.
Let's trade places.
Okay.
I need to take pictures.
Well, anyway, I was really worried about Duncan, but he never caught it. So.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Some people have a natural immunity. Look at this.
Yeah, I found that in Mom's office.
F. Duncan Scott. Yeah. Oh yeah, that was when he was at. He was a student assistant in pharmacology when he was an undergrad.
Yeah, that's just
neat.
I remember him when he looked like that.
Yeah, he's just a skinny looking kid. He's still relatively skinny, but because he's always been thin. Due to his asthma, I guess.
Yeah. What I remember about both of you guys is that you guys were tall. To me,
Yes.
to me, America is a land of giants anyway.
Yeah.
When I go back to my country, everybody's my height. So, you know.
Well, and people in the Philippines or in Asia.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I mean, it's the same thing. But you know, talking about immunity,